Okay, so I've just connected to one sheet here. Now our data is here as of now. For a dashboard, right? Whenever you want to kind of prepare a report or show the dashboard to any user, few things which are really important, like header of a dashboard. You need to have a header. So how would you give the header over here? You need to add some text or format like that. You can add a text box,
Textbook.
right? Text box, and then add whatever data you want. So maybe you can say sample, or I would say superstore summary. This is the text what I have written. Now you can format it. So we'll do central alignment. Maybe you can change the font 20, 40, whatever you want to give. Yeah, something like this. We can color it. Maybe as soon as you select, you get the properties related to text box. Title is there, of course. Then you can have background color. So you can choose any color over here. And then you can start putting the objects into it. Border and all, let's say page color if you want to define anything. Page background color. So these things you can do the formatting from here. Add images in the background if you want. So we'll add image also today for one particular object. So this is just the placeholder what I have created for my page. Now let's go ahead and add few objects. So as I said that for dashboard, on top you need to have summaries. And as you go down in the dashboard, you can have different, detailed summary. So when we say summary, high level summary, I generally prefer maybe pie chart or donut or some bars, maybe the columns or bars at the top. So first of all, I'll add one thing over here.
Donut chart.
Yeah, the donut chart. We'll take category. Then let's take regions, and I will add sales. So that's what one thing what I have added. Right, one object. Then you can take another object in terms of, let's say, trend, if you want to show. So in terms of trend over here, I will take a dual axis chart. Generally we call it combo chart or dual axis chart. So combo chart, basically it is going to show you two measures, right? So two measures, basically what I will do, let me just add it here. And first of all, I will take date. Under date hierarchy, I will select month, right? And then I will take profit and I will take sales. So what we have done, we have taken two measures over here. Right? So one shows, if I expand it, focus on it. So it shows you profit and sales by month over here. But yes, as of now, if you see, there is it's not the dual axis chart actually. It is showing you just two measures, right? Dual axis chart means sales will be on y-axis, primary y-axis, and profit will be on secondary y-axis. So what I mean is, if you go to the property of this chart, over here, you will see values are on values of profit and sales are on this right now, but y2 is blank. So y2 is what? Secondary y-axis. So if you drag, let's say, sales on secondary y-axis, you get something like this. Now you're getting the scale on both sides. This is your profit and this is your sales. Getting?
Okay.
Right?
So we cannot give this profit line here and sales line here. above 400K? Because
Uh,
profit and
you
sales are together on the top.
right. Mhm.
So we cannot move that from here to here.
I mean, are you trying to say like profit has a different scale and sales has a different scale?
Yes.
But
Yes.
okay. So in that case, if you want to show them differently, then this was the first view what we saw. That was the best one. So
Hmm.
over here, if you see, this is your profit, which is as 43,000, whereas your sales is at 3,25,000. So as per one scale, it's a best visualization,
Yes.
right? People will not get confused. Like both have the different values, but still they were coming together. So this is the better one. Now on top of it, you can do the formatting related to each axis in case you have secondary y-axis. Over here we have removed the secondary y-axis, so only y-axis which we have, that is this. On top of it, so right now it is by 1000. Okay, this is linear actually, start, and if you go down, it shows the units. So it is thousands right now. You can show millions, billions, trillions, the way we want. This is right now in thousands. You can see k over here in
Yes.
axis.
Hmm.
So you can change the axis by the unit whichever you want. Title is already there, decimal places is fine. Okay. Colors, that is also you can change. Now one more thing, style. Okay. Style is fine. Okay. So the stroke will be basically the boldness, or you can say uh, the height of these lines, right? The trend over here, whichever you see, it is at one point at this moment. So by changing this, you can change the, is this axis? Okay, this is related to actually grid lines. It is changing. Let me turn the
We can
grid
take a
lines
smooth
off.
line also, no, for this.
Yeah, yeah, we can do that. I'm just looking at the properties of this start and y-axis. You just need to look for all the properties which you want to apply right over here.
Hmm.
So plot area, background, border, tooltip, visual help. Okay. So you can see under shapes, you have boldness of these lines.
Yes.
So over here you can see join types. So over here you can say, you can
Line
change.
style solid. We can put in the what's the background? Okay, dotted dash.
So right now it is dashed. If you reduce the stroke width, you will see that what is the meaning of this dash. See,
This will be
okay,
little bit.
yeah, or dotted will be a simple dots over here.
Show marker. What is down one? Yeah, little bit.
Yep, yep. So marker
Like
is
this.
like the data points.
Data points.
You can choose the shape of those things, triangle, square, whichever you want, plus sign. So these things are possible over here. You can change the color. I'll take this size. You can take, right. So this is the stepped trend. You don't want that, that's fine. Join types, Miller. So yeah, over here, by coming over here, you can do the formatting the way you want. Fine.
Okay.
For now, I'll just go ahead and show this.
Excuse me. Sorry.
It's okay. So chart we have already taken, so I'm not going to focus on that. Now let's say we'll take one more trend over here. Maybe that is by sales. Now for sales, again I will take order date, year and month, and we'll convert this into trend line. And this is the trend what you see as a by default trend, right? By month I have converted it to the sales figure. What want to do is I want to show the forecast, right? It's a simple option for the linear forecast in Power BI. So just go here under the properties again. If you go, we were getting all these properties which we have just gone through for this particular chart.
Yes.
In there only, because it is a single linear trend what we are showing on the top of months. So that's why you get one more option over here, and that is related to basically forecast under analytics, right? If we add forecast, it is going to show you the forecast for as many units you want. So when we say as many units, basically we were showing our data by months, right? So this will show, if I have given let's say 15, it will show for the next 15 months what is my trend. Ignore last point, so you can ignore 0 points at this moment. If you want, you can ignore last 2 months. What is the meaning of ignore last 2 points?
So it's not showing the last 2 months report. Last two
Okay,
point report.
so basically what happens, uh, before doing any kind of forecast,
Mm.
right? What you actually need is you need minimum 6 months of data,
Okay.
right? For any forecast and better forecast, you need minimum 6 months of data. If you don't have that data, your forecast will not show the good number. The quality of that forecast will be very less. That's why you need good amount of data to do the forecast. Over here, when we say like ignore last 2 points, so last 2 points it will not see. So for example, let's say last 2 months were not doing good because of coronavirus, right? If I ask you, looking at the normal growth of the company or previous trend of the company, what would be my forecast? So in that case, you will definitely ignore last 3 months or 2 months, because here we had a specific reason of coronavirus and the business was not doing good. Okay. So while doing forecasting, I will not consider the data of last 2 months, and I will take rest of the months for forecasting.
So actually, it means you can hide the data of 2 months.
No, I'm not hiding it. The
You're
only
not
thing
taking it.
is, yeah, for this calculation, Power BI will not consider last 2 months data.
Okay.
It will, right? It will automatically skip that data and take the prior data.
Okay.
Correct? Yeah. Now, before I come to confidence level or confidence interval, there is a word called seasonality. What is seasonality?
I don't know exactly.
Okay. So, if I ask you, in India, right, uh, the mango season is about to come, right? Or maybe it is going on right now,
Mm.
summers. If I ask you in winter, the sale of mango is very less. Will my statement be correct?
No.
Right? The reason being there is no production of mango in winters.
Yes.
That's why sales is automatically down. So if you plot the data of sales of mango in last 10 years, every winter there would be less sales of mango,
Yeah, definitely.
right?
Because
Because
there will be
mango is
no
a
food of
seasonal
mango.
fruit. Exactly. Because mango is a seasonal fruit. It is available only in summers. So definitely there would be less sales in winter or rainy season. Only in summers you will find good sales of mango. So that's a seasonal trend. In the same way, if you look at this trend over here, right, this is the sales data. And at the beginning of year, generally you have a spike. And towards the end of the year, you are getting a dip, right?
Yes.
Same goes with 17, 18 also. There is a hike and then there is a dip. If you go towards 18 and 19, then there is a hype and then it goes down.
Down.
So this is the same pattern it is following every year, right? Maybe in last quarter you see high sales because it is before the Christmas season, the holiday season in US. And that's why there is a high sales in that particular quarter every year,
Okay.
right? And that is the reason even the forecast which has got generated over here, it has considered that seasonality and it has given the similar trend over here.
Yes.
If you ignore seasonality, right? Maybe is auto, let's say if you put 0, I don't know. Okay. I want 100% seasonality to be used. I'll put 0, which means I don't, let me put 1 and apply, right? So in this scenario, because I have put 1, it's not considering. So which means 0 or 100. 100 means you want to apply complete seasonality, and 1 means you don't want to apply seasonality. If you don't apply seasonality, see, it's a straight trend it has given as a
Okay.
forecast, right? Which is simple the average of your data. No other parameter or calculation has been considered. So this is the type of forecasting you can do over here. If you take 100%, it will show you the similar seasonality. Now, what is confidence level?
We are confident about coming season production.
Okay,
Maybe this
so
this season production will be different. That will be the confidence.
right. So if I ask you one question, any prediction in the world, is that 100% true? I mean, many people predict, right, about many things.
Yes. No.
Can we do 100% true prediction on anything?
No. No.
Right?
There may
That's
be
never
some
possible. Mhm.
minus, plus minus will be there.
Plus minus will always be there. There will always be a chances of error. Maybe it is your 99.99% accurate, but still there would be chance of 1% error. No
Production thing,
prediction.
production thing. The production thing is are plus minus. But the service, if you have put it one company as a service, that will be plus only. It will be never minus. But the
Right.
production
See,
will be plus minus.
no, I'm not talking about production. I'm talking
Hmm.
about prediction. 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 Forecast.
Prediction forecast.
Yeah.
Will be plus minus.
Right. A prediction means you are saying that in future it will do like this. You're talking about future. Looking at the previous trend, previous data, you're talking about the future,
Future.
right? So looking at the history, you cannot predict anything that it is going to happen like this. You can tell, you can come up with the result. You can say like 90% chances are there that it will happen like this, but you can never say that 100% it will happen this, right? In any prediction, whether it is astrology, horoscope, or anything, whether you do
Hmm.
data modeling here and create any model, there will
Hmm.
always be a chance of errors, right?
Right.
And that error percentage, what we say, that is being represented by the confidence level. Basically, confidence level is equal to 1 minus error percentage. If I'm taking confidence level as 95%, which means there are 5% chances of error.
Yes.
If I take it, let's say 75%, so I would say there are 25% chances of error. Right? So that's the meaning of confidence interval. So if you maybe if you have a statistical background, right, in data modeling, then you can explore all these values a lot. It's a statistical point of view, actually. Right? Yeah. So this is all about your forecast. Then other than this, you can have further formatting for it. I'll just close it for a moment. These are the different other lines. I'll come to these. These are the basic ones, right? Trend line, constant line, minimum and maximum line. Let's create one chart and I'll show it. So let me add one bar chart over here. We'll add, let's say, sales and segment. 3 segments. We'll do focus and let's go to analytics. So constant line. If you add constant line, the value what you want to give, maybe let's say your data is around 1.2 million.
Yeah.
So let's say if you want to show a line at 1 million, 1 million, something like this, right? So this is a constant line. For example, let's say in a particular process, you said this is your target. So you can fix that target by this line over here. And then you can see the production of other incidents or teams like this. So you can say over here only consumer segment has achieved their target and other two are still, working,
Okay.
right? So it is to represent the target kind of thing, target like scenarios. Now, similar thing can be done if you go by another line, which is minimum or
Minimum
maximum,
line. Okay.
right?
Minimum
So,
target.
yeah, so minimum target. So basically, let's say there is a process where you show your lower limit and upper limit, right? Lower limit or
Yes.
upper limit. So in that case, you can show minimum line and maximum line.
Maximum line.
So see, the minimum line came automatically over here. If you add, let's say, second line as maximum line, it will come here. So your minimum data is at this level and maximum data is at this level,
Okay.
right? So any chart wherein you shows like this minimum and maximum, or maybe you show two uh, constant lines, that chart is called control line chart. Control line chart, right? Because you have control limits over there, minimum or maximum,
Maximum.
right? So that is we call this is a simple bar chart, but because we are using the lines over here, we call it control chart. So generally in quality processes, this chart is used. If after minimum maximum, if you go average line, it will simply show you the average data. So that is this, right? You can change the formatting for it. Okay, so this is the average volume. Similarly, if you go, you have furthermore median and percentile line. Okay, what is a median of data?
The middle of the data.
Yeah, median basically represents the middle value of the data. So if you do that, you will get another line that is this. So this was your minimum, it was your maximum, this is the middle line.
Okay.
Okay, and same goes with percentile. What is percentile?
The percents are this much percent we completed or achievement.
So generally your percentile is not same as percentage. It's different.
Okay.
Okay. In India, I mean, you must have heard about CAT exam,
Yes.
right? For MBAs and all IIMs and many institutes, it happens.
Okay.
So in CAT exam, what happens? They never declare your results basis percentage. They always declare the results basis percentile.
Okay.
What is the difference? Why they
Calculate the
focus on
percentage.
percentile, not percentage?
So in this percentage, many people will be there under some percentage.
Right.
Percentile, a calculate exact persons will be there, not more or less, in my view.
Maybe I'm not getting it. It doesn't look very clear when you say. Any other example?
Accurate percentile.
Okay, let me explain. Okay, in percentage, what happens? You always calculate everything out of 100.
Yes.
Let's see if I got 60 marks out of 100, my percentage is 60%. If somebody got 33 out of 100, which means it is 33%,
Mm.
right? But in percentile, what happens? Your exam will be or marks will still be out of some total mark, right? Let's say in exam you need to get 100 marks, that's the maximum one, right?
Okay.
So and you got 66 marks,
Yes.
right? So your percentage will be 66.
Mm.
But in order to calculate percentile, we find out the maximum value, right? So let's say there are 10 students. Out of 10 students, there is one student who secured 90% marks out of 100,
Okay.
right? So his percentage will be 90%, right?
Yes.
But because he has got maximum, percentile for other students will be out of 90. Okay, let me go to Excel and we'll show you. So Excel. Okay, let's say these are the students, and I will say random between 33 comma 100. And these are the different marks secured by people. Now if I said out of 100, which means this divided by 100 is their percentage. No, what happened? Something is wrong.
200.
Okay. I know what is wrong now. The formula which I have dragged is not fine. So it will be F2 and then F4. Yeah.
You have not logged that rows.
Yes. Fine. So these are the different percentage what everybody has secured. Now, if I ask you what is the maximum value out of it, that is 98,
98. You can see down also. Max value equal
right?
to max.
Yeah, the max is 98 only here, right? You can find it
Yes.
out. You can see that. So the percentile for these students will be this divided by max of this.
Okay.
And what would be that percentage? See here. Okay. So for this student, his percentage is 48%, but his percentile is 49%. Getting?
Yes.
Right? Similarly, for this student, his percentage is 68, but percentile is 86 and percentile is 88. For
So it's
this
rounding off
student,
that value.
no, it's not rounding off. It has found out the maximum value which has been secured,
Okay.
right? And out of that, you are getting the percentage. This percentage is not out of 100, it is out of the maximum value which is
Value.
gained in the population. So that's the only difference between percentile and percentage.
So percentile is taking out from maximum value.
Right. Okay. So maybe I don't know whether we have a percentile. Yes, we have a formula.
Percentile we have.
Right. So percentile, let's take this array. This is a complete array,
Okay.
comma k. What is means k cult. Okay, percentile, different options which you want to apply. Let me just do like this. Uh, it won't work. Percentile.
Percentile some value. K means some value, I think.
Okay, let's use this one, which says this function is available for compatibility with 2007 and earlier. Kth percentile. Okay. Let's see. Um, I'm not that a statistician, but we'll try 25th percentile. No. They need one more parameter over here. See, it says k. Let's say if I say 1, no. Okay. It says returns the kth percentile of value in a range where k is the range 0 to 1. Okay, 0 to 1. So let's do it. Percentile in a
You know, sir,
range.
1 means exact and 0 means exact. If you take a match or index
Mhm.
or some, if you write some value, if you want exact match, then we have to put 0,
Is it the
comma
same
0. If
as
you want
in, but it's not
it
giving
does
any
not put
value, right?
0, put 0. If
Yeah,
you
I
want
tried
exact.
that. That happens in VLOOKUP.
No, sir, not in VLOOKUP. It happens in
Uh,
index match also.
yeah, I mean, over there also it happens. I'm talking about the statistical functions.
Yeah.
Does it happen like the same here also? Percentile. This one is again, this is 98. Okay. Percentile inclusive of this is something other. This percentile is something else, I believe. Exclusive. This is my array, comma.
Something is missed out, sir.
Yeah, I mean, see, they have arrays, right? There are 3 or 4. 2 are these, rank, sorry, percent rank and percentile. So that's why. So, but overall, if you say like the in layman terms, your percentile will go be like will go right.
Yes.
Right? This is the kind of definition what you get here in terms of percentile. The last row we were trying over here percentile 90%. It will show the row accordingly. Right? So basically, in any kind of trend lines or in reference lines, we generally use all these. Whether it is a constant line, minimum line, maximum line, right? Median, average. So these lines are to be shown in different.
Hello. 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 Hello.
Yeah, Hemant, you can hear
Hello.
me, right?
Yeah,
Hello.
now I can hear you, sir.
Okay. So yeah, what I was saying, like these basically different trend lines are being used in case of showing some statistical information related to your trend or different other
Okay.
visualizations,
Okay.
right? And you will find it generally in the bar charts only. You will not find it in any trend line or some other visualization. Okay, so having said that, I'm kind of ready with one of the dashboard. Now, if I if you see here under filters, right, you have options like add data fields here and add data fields here. This section says filters on this page, and this section says filters on all pages. So
Okay.
which
Now we are in
means,
the field of filters. Filter
yeah,
topic.
right. We created our dashboard
Okay. We
with
have
our
two
4
type of
charts,
filters.
right?
On one
So,
page filter and all page filter. Two
right,
filters are
so,
there.
correct. So, for example, let's say if you take
One page means what, sir? On
one
one chart.
page, no. One
On this
page
page
means
means
this
on
is
this
one
page means
page.
which one?
Okay,
Okay, this page one.
yeah. Over here, if you see this is page one, you can
Okay.
add another page also. You can add multiple pages over here.
So multiple
So,
reports.
right. So this
There may
is your first,
be product report, order reports, summary report, custom
correct.
reports, and then final.
Right. So this is your summary report over here. Maybe you can just name it summary. And whatever filters I drag, they will be if I drag it here, it will be applicable to all the charts on this particular filter. So for example, I can drag maybe country over here,
Category.
right? Sorry, yeah, category. It says furniture, office supplies, and technology. And you can give require single selection or multiple selection. If you do single selection, you would be able to select only one value at a time,
Okay.
right? Then if you uncheck this, then you can select multiple values at the same time. Fine. That's a filter, what I have added. If I add anything here, for example, let's say region, this is going to be applicable to all these pages also,
Okay. All these pages will get region filter.
right? So let me just drag one donut chart here. I'll add a big donut chart and we'll say, let's say states. Where is states? States. And then we can add profit. And maybe I don't need tooltip. So sorry, I don't need legend over here. So I can go to this section. I mean, select this one and legend. I will remove this. Okay, but I need colors over here. You understood the difference, right?
Yeah.
On the legend, you have state. That's why you're getting different colors as well as this list of states,
Okay.
right? But what I said, I don't need this list over here.
Okay.
I'm okay with colors on this particular donut, but I don't need this list. So for that, you can try dragging this onto details. There are a number of options which I will try now. So first of all, I'm putting it on details and we have removed it from state, but still you can see your list is there. I don't need this actually. So legend, okay, fine. So you can go here and turn off the legend. That's the best solution as of now. Fine.
Yes.
Okay. Now page number 2, I can take some other chart. Maybe I will take a table. Let me take this one. We'll add profit. We'll add sales. We'll take category and then we'll take subcategory and we'll take order years. I'm just selecting randomly everything. Then we will arrange one by one. Okay. So we have put all the information over here and you can see your, okay. Now let's arrange everything. On this segment here, what generally I would like to have, I would like to have my subcategory after category, and then I will put this order date into columns like pivot table, right? See over here. So you have got years at the top, and then you have furniture category and subcategory,
Yes.
right? That's what I wanted. Now, in case further to this, if you want, you can go ahead and apply some styles or charts, whichever you want, to your table. That you can do anytime. So I've got my 3 pages ready. I will call it as cross table.
Cross table.
This I will call as donut,
Donut.
right? Now if you see here, over here we added one filter that was on this particular page,
This page. Yes.
right?
If we copy
Let's,
that filter to all page, drag and drop, then all it will be same region. It got locked.
no. I need to drag it here. Okay. And over here also I will say single selection. Fine. So just wanted to show two things. On this particular page, I have category filter. So if
Yeah.
I go ahead and let's say select one particular category, you will see the data related to that category only,
That category. Yes.
right? But if you
Yes.
go here in cross table or you go to donut, you will still see everything, complete data. See furnitures, office supplies, technology, complete data is coming.
Yeah.
So there is no impact on other two sheets
Okay.
if I have put it on filters on this page.
Page that will be on one page only, no? On the current page.
That's what, right? Whereas there is another filter, filters on all pages. If I go ahead and select over here like East, so data from this got filtered.
Filter. Yes.
I'll go to other tabs. Over here, see this filter is still visible on this page also,
Yeah.
right?
Still valid.
And yeah, it is valid. Maybe we can see by changing the values over here. The values are changing, which means it is applicable to this page as well. And because only East is selected, I'll go to Donut. You will see very few cities or states over here,
Mm.
right? Which means your filter can be applicable to either a particular chart
Mm.
that we have not shown right now. It can be applicable to a particular page,
Yeah.
or it could be applicable to the all the pages, right? So only three options,
Three options. Particular chart, particular page, or all the pages.
all the pages. So if I
Three
let's say
type of
select,
filter.
right, if I select this page over here, it see you have the option like filter on this visual.
Mm.
Three options are there. One is for all pages, one is on this page, and first is on this particular visual.
Okay.
So these three options for filters are available, right? Got the difference?
Yes.
Details on filters. Okay, now let's move ahead. Similar kind of other things which are available in Power BI to filter out your data is either parameter, or there is one more thing called slicers,
Slices.
right? So now I'll go ahead and show you the parameter. In order to create parameter, let me just save
Save it.
it. Yes, demo 3. No, let me give the today's date. That will
That will be better. 16.5.
16th. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and over here you don't see any parameter, right? On this particular
No.
tab.
No.
For parameters, either you can go to this particular tab which is called data,
Okay.
or go from here to transform data,
Transform it.
right? So I'll just click on it. We'll go to transform data. And over here you see the manage parameters.
Okay.
As of now you don't have any parameter. If you click over here, you'll see get this screen which says new and no other parameters in the list,
Okay.
right? So now let's create one parameter. I will call it as new, and then we'll create parameter. Maybe let's create parameter basis this field which is ship mode. Okay, ship mode. I'll create a parameter based on this. So we'll call it ship underscore mode. You can give any name. Description maybe like parameter, not mandatory, but you can type anything. Ship modes. Values, sorry, data type, that will be text because it is a text field over here. And then you can give any values in terms of list, query, or a specific value. So let's type anything. I will type second class. Then we have standard class. Do we have any other value? Let me add one more value called first class. I don't know whether this value is there or not, but first class. We'll make the same thing as, okay. So first
Parameter means
class,
adding a column
no,
in a current
it's
sheet.
a, no, it's not a column. It's a kind of filter,
Okay.
right? So first class, standard class, and second class. We have added these three values into this parameter.
Hmm.
Now what we will do, I'll just go ahead and click once again on manage parameters. Sorry. So you will see that parameter created over here.
Okay.
Fine. Now another thing, if at this condition, if I close and apply and go to my data source,
Hmm.
right? And over here under transform data, you will see, okay, right now the parameter is disabled. I think you need to refresh the data first. Then you will see that parameter. I'll go back again to transform data. So see, the
Okay.
edit
Edit
parameter
parameter.
is over here now.
Yeah.
If I click on it, you will see the same thing, ship mode, and you will see those values. If you select any of these values and click OK, nothing happens,
Why, sir?
right? I'm telling you, because so far we have not made any join between our parameter and data,
Data. So cardinality we have to do
right?
again.
So we simply created one parameter, but it is not associated with our data.
Okay.
In order to join this parameter with our data,
We have to
we
go relation
need
tab.
to go, yeah, we need to go back again to that data, transform data tab. And over here, we said that our ship mode parameter is related to the ship mode column, right? Basis this only I created, right?
Yes.
So I'll just go ahead and click on text filter. You can select any value over here, equals, and then you will get this thing. It is same again, similar to Excel you see, equals, contains, begin with, does not contain, right? Similar options. Over here, because it is created on ship mode, if you click over here, you will see all the values related to ship mode column.
Okay.
If you select any of these values,
Hmm.
it's a kind of hard coding your value,
Means, sir.
which means you had three values over here in the field. You are
Yes.
applying the parameter on the field. So only this value will always appear for the person who's going back to the data visualization and looking at it. This is the only value which will appear, right?
First class.
First class. If you want to associate this with your parameter where you have flexibility to choose any of your values, you need
Hmm.
to click on this ABC, see
Okay.
the parameter or new parameter, which means this parameter allows you to kind of select your existing parameter, or
Okay.
you can create new parameters also,
No.
right? Now, but the problem which I can see parameters. Okay, I selected parameters.
Then ship mode
Can,
parameter will complete, right?
yeah, you can see the list of your parameters. So as
Yes.
of now, there is only one parameter in our data, ship mode. So it has automatically selected that.
Okay.
We'll click OK over here because there was only one value at the time, default value. So it will show the data of that default value at this moment.
Hmm.
You close and apply, go back to your data view. It will apply the changes, right? Data is filtered out. If you go back to parameter, edit parameters, and choose some other value, maybe standard class, and click OK, apply changes, your data will change. What happened?
On.
I think I closed that Power BI. It just got closed.
Hmm.
Luckily, we saved it, right?
Yes. Back end we have saved.
Hmm. View recovered files.
So it comes from directly till the from parameters, or again we have
Mhm.
to add parameters.
No, so and now
Recover
it is coming
files.
from the now it is coming from the parameters only, right? Because we have linked our data.
Yes. We have saved long back now before creating parameters. That's the reason I was asking.
But okay, you're talking about the recovered files, right?
Yes, yes.
This recovered file, I believe, is coming from the uh,
Parameters.
auto save option, right? In all Microsoft products, you have auto save option, right?
Yes.
If
That's there.
that option is enabled, it will keep saving. So see, auto recovery contains some recovered files. So that's why you can see the parameter, but let's see whether it is working or not. If not, we need to go back there. Yes, it's not working. So I'll just go to data transform data. Ship mode is there. Ship mode filters equal to. We'll select the parameter.
Yes, parameter
Ship
filter is
mode.
there.
Right. We'll close and apply. Apply changes. It is automatically doing it right now. I'm not doing anything.
That's the reason I was asking. It is automatic recover or save.
No, it was doing automatically. Okay, so your data got filtered. Let me just save it once. Don't want to take any risk now. Okay, so now we'll go to this transform parameters, transform data, and we'll change the value of this parameter, maybe second class, and we'll say okay. Apply changes. Right. So your data is getting filtered basis this parameter.
Yeah.
Right. Now this will be applicable to your other sheets automatically. The reason being, we are doing it on data source level or data level.
Okay.
Wherever sheet you go, this will be there. See, second class. If you change it to standard class, first of all, data will change here. At the same time, your data will change in donut and your data will change here. Right? Parameters, this parameter works on the data source level or your query level. So that's why it will impact all of your visualization. Clear?
Clear.
But the problem over here is this parameter is available only in Power BI desktop. It is not available in Power BI web
This
service.
service. So
Right?
we will not use those this parameter
Right.
there.
Yeah. We will not use this there. This is for the people who are working on Power BI desktop and doing data analysis. It is only for those people,
Okay.
not for the business users. Right? So that's a difference between your parameter and filter.
Filter can
Fi-
apply anywhere. So
Filter can, no, there is one limit on filters also. I'll come to that point. But as of now, we see that filters are more useful than
then
parameters.
parameter.
Right? That difference is clear, correct?
Clear.
Right. Now, if I
Right,
ask
sir.
you one question in terms of filters,
Hmm.
for filters, we saw that you can apply filter on an individual visualization.
Hmm.
You can apply filter on a particular page. You can apply filter on all pages.
Pages. Yes.
But if I say that I don't want to apply filter on all pages, I want to apply filter on only 2 pages of mine. Can we
Okay.
do that?
Might be there may be some settings, but there is no option like this over here.
Right? There is no option. and Power BI doesn't provide that flexibility.
So
That's a
slicer,
limitation. Yeah. So in that case, we will be using slicers.
slicers.
Yeah. Slicers
Most
have that
of the cases we use slicers only.
Yeah, that's what. Right? Slicers are going to be very useful in this scenario.
Because it is a friendly and it can be seen. If a business user if you select some in a slicer some data, then that field will get a filter out easily.
Right. Right.
Because he
Let's
does
see. I
not
mean,
want to go in a filter and click
hmm,
it here and there.
right, right. Let's publish this and let's see that how, these things basically filters appear on web UI. Okay. So it shows you like all three sheets what you have. Summary, cross
Yes.
table, donut. Right. These three pages are there. And okay, so this is for your pages. I'll make it a little smaller. Then we'll go to summary. So this is your filters. They appear like this,
Hmm.
right? They are there on the page, and it's up to you like how you are using it. You can collapse, change. Fine.
Yes.
So that is how your filters are working on web UI. And of course, yes, parameters are not here, so you cannot see them or do anything. Okay, now let's go back to Power BI desktop and we'll play with slicers now.
Okay.
So for slicer, let's drag slicer first of all here. Why can't I drag slicers? Okay, it's here now. And on this slicer, let's add maybe segment we have taken, subcategory we have taken, region we have taken. Let's add region only once again. Region. Okay, so it shows central region right now. The reason being in filter I have selected central region. I'll mark it all and we'll go from there. Correct? So this is there. Now on over here, if you see, you can apply. Things are working like this. Correct?
Yeah.
If I'm selecting south, am I getting the south data only on other sheets? Doesn't look like. We are getting everything right now.
Yes. So we have
Right?
to
So
add
which
slicer on page.
so yes, there is one setting what we need to do so that that slicer will be applicable on all the sheets or whichever sheet we want. There is no mandate that you need to use it on all or you can not use on all. So what I'll do, I'll just go ahead and select this slicer. We'll go to view and under view, you have an option called sync slicer.
Okay.
Just click on it. It will show you all the sheet names. So you need to select that where you want this to be applicable.
Okay.
Right now, this button, this eye icon shows that this slicer will appear on that particular sheet,
Visible.
visible. And this checkbox is for applicable options. So let me select First two, donut I'm not selecting, or maybe let's select donut and I don't select this, right? I want this to be appear as well as applicable for summary and donut, not the cross tab. Correct?
Okay.
Let's go to donut. So you can see it's appearing here, and you can filter out your data whichever you want. I've selected East, will go to summary. The same thing will be selected here also, right? Let's say if I uncheck this, so on donut it will not show, but my filters will work accordingly. So South, see, only South region data,
Yes.
right? So that eye icon shows whether it is applicable, or I mean whether it will appear or not, but this icon is to make it applicable on those particular sheets.
Yes.
Any questions so far?
No.
Okay,
For the concept, no.
right.
Param-
Now,
Filters we finished. Parameters we finished. Now we are in slicers. Slicer concept is a little bit easy.
yep, I mean this is better option, I would say, slicers. Now we'll see some of the properties of slicers. So we'll go ahead and click on properties. So first of all, cross report, these are the common ones. I'll go to this general, and over here the best part is orientation. I really like this. This orientation that is vertical at this moment. You can select horizontal, and as soon as you select that, right, see these boxes.
Yeah, if we click on this button, box like button only.
Yes, and see, now you're getting 4 buttons. You can put it anywhere on your visualization.
The top, left, right, anywhere.
Yep. If you have more values, you will get, the navigation also. So what I mean is outline, overweight, responsive. Okay. Let's say if we don't select responsive,
Hmm.
no, I think right now it is not coming. Let's say if you have more values, right, then you get that scroll bar that you can scroll from one value to another value. Items, slicer header. We need to see that in the property. It is somewhere in that property itself. No. Borders are there. Okay. If I uncheck this, I believe I should be able to select multiple options over here. Fine. You can hear me, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So what I was saying, if you uncheck this option, you can select multiple objects over here.
Okay.
Okay. Now another thing, my one more question I have here.
Hmm.
At this moment, this particular chart which we are looking at it has very less data, so that's why we have space and we are able to kind of show our slices.
Yeah.
Where has it gone? Yeah, we are able to show our slicer on top of it.
Hmm.
But there could be a possibility that, let's say, this slicer, I mean, I don't have much space on my chart. So in that case, how can we kind of play with slicer so that whenever it is required, then only it should appear, or otherwise it will not appear?
Advanced. There is a called advanced option in the slices, sync slicers.
Which option?
Advanced option will be there in the sync slicer to appear the slicers. And
Actually, no, it's not there. We For that we need to kind of create a kind of custom solution over here, right? But before I talk about custom solution, let's me talk about one more topic. Do you know why this bookmark is used for?
to point out,
This bookmark.
we have add some pages or something will be there. A bookmark.
Okay. I mean that happens in case of Chrome or Explorer,
That's-
right? There is a similar concept in this Power BI also. So, for example, at this moment you have selected Central, right?
okay.
Or let's say if I select East also,
Hmm.
and I want to save this snapshot as it is, right? So whenever I will go to that bookmark, these two things will always be selected,
Okay.
right? You can go to bookmark, click over here, add, and you can name it something. Something means you can take it as Central and East, right? I'll go ahead and remove it, right? You can add another. We'll call it as
South.
South, right? Now let's publish this. Over here, where do you see the bookmarks? Do we have bookmarks here? Okay, we'll see. Let's deploy this. Okay, so it is published. Now if you come here, these are all your filters, views.
Slicer came directly, no, sir. Over here, east, west, north.
No, this was the last view what we published, right?
Yeah.
I want to
No, we
see
did a
whether
bookmark also, no?
where is
We
the
did a
bookmark?
bookmark. We did a bookmark also, no, sir.
That is what I'm looking for, because that bookmark will show you both the options.
Both the options.
Content. If that's not here, I can show that in the desktop itself. Okay, let's go back to desktop right now. I'll show you on the Power BI web service as well. So basically what happens over here, if you select this Central and East,
Hmm.
you will see the selection of those two. If you select
Okay.
South, it will show you this one,
South. Yeah, that's
right? So only
that we
one
have.
only one dashboard, but with two screenshots over here,
Two screenshots.
correct?
So we can compare the data of two at
Right.
a time also.
So this will help you in order to, I mean, with only one dashboard, you are able to kind of create multiple views, maybe
Hmm.
different stages, and then you can show your data in a presentation, right? You don't need multiple dashboards to be created. Okay, any questions so far on bookmarks?
No. No.
Okay, so now what I was talking about, like let's say if I need to hide this, I don't want this particular slicer.
Slice.
I only want when I need it, otherwise I don't want, right? So for that, I will utilize this capability only. I'll just remove these bookmarks for a minute. We'll say delete and we'll say delete, right? Both bookmarks are deleted.
Yes.
Where is my slices?
Gone.
Okay, it's here. Okay, my slicer is here. Now what I will do, I'll I'll take this slicer. Let me just change its border at least so that it will look little better. So far, okay. So at least we can see it now. What I'm going to do, if you go to insert, you have a couple of options over here like text box, buttons, shapes, and images. What I will do, I'll take one rectangle, and on this rectangle, maybe we can put our slicer. Okay. Now you would say I said I'm putting on top of it, but I can't see it, right? So for that, actually, if you go to view, in under selection, you have this screen, which basically tells you the layering of different objects. So whichever object is at the top, that will be at the topmost layer. So I want my slicer to be at top. I can go ahead and put it like this. See? So it is on top of box now. Visible? This is a selection,
Okay.
right? Now, the next thing what I want to do is I will kind of put some button over here. On top of that, I can add some action, right? So maybe something over here. Okay. I'll take one button you can insert from insert, go to buttons and take any of these buttons, whichever you want. Let me take back and I'll put this back button over here like this, right? I'll take one more image that will always be there, maybe as a placeholder or something like that. So maybe, or you can take any image from your system also. I don't have anything downloaded at this moment, but let me go to take some other button only. Let's say right arrow key. Okay, I'll put that here. How can we format it? Okay, I'll leave it as it is. The formatting was not looking good. So, well, okay.
Mostly buttons are
See,
left. Slicer will be left like that only, sir.
no, what I'm trying to do over here is I want to kind of use properties so that I can tell you when I want to kind of remove this and when I want to show this for user experience. Okay, that's a behavior we want to kind of implement. So at this moment, if you see, you have these three things over here. So what I'll do, I'm going to hold my control, right? Control button. So first of all, slices, then my rectangle, and I need to select that button also. So this, sorry. First of all, this button, slices, and this box. If you right click on top of it, okay, I basically want to kind of add them into a group. The way in PowerPoint you have the grouping system, right? You
Yes.
can club 2, 3 objects into one. That is what I want to do. Okay, what's happening? Okay, so the group is disabled. Why? I'll select this also. Okay, I got it. I think the problem is because of this. Okay, let me take some other button because this back button is automatically, taking me to the another screen. See, right? You getting?
Yes.
This back button is kind of already has some action, so it is taking me to the back button. I'll take this left arrow key. I'll select that, my slicer, and then the box. Now you can see the group is enabled.
Yes.
So group, as soon as you do that, you can in under selection. This came from view and then selection. So under selection, you can see that there is a group which has been created, and under that there are two objects right now, button and slicer.
Slicer.
This button is my this arrow key, and this slicer. I will add my box shape, this shape also under that same. So I'll drag this and put it below the slicer. So under this group, I have all three objects mine, three objects of mine.
Okay.
Fine, right? Now what I'm going to do is, out of these two actions, right? I have two buttons over here. I'm going to apply action on these two buttons. What I want, if I click on this arrow key, this slicer should appear. If I click on this back sign, slicer should go away,
Okay.
right? That is the solution I want to implement. So as soon as I kind of click over here, so slicer should come. So what I will do, I'll take this particular view or snapshot and add as bookmark. We'll call it with slicers. And over here, I don't want to retain any data. So in slicer, when we create, in bookmark earlier, when we created, we were able to show the data also, right? Whatever the
Yes.
selection I did. So I
Yes.
don't want to retain any data here. So I'll uncheck this. Fine. So it will, this snapshot or this bookmark will not retain any data. Now, another thing is, another snapshot we need or another bookmark we need without slicers. Which means if I will be clicking on it, I want to show another bookmark which doesn't have slicers. You're getting the logic, right?
Yes.
So I'll go ahead and uncheck this first of all. If you uncheck this, it will not show. And then take another bookmark. and we'll name it as without slices. Clear? These two steps are clear, right?
Yes. Because
Right.
I have concept.
Now what I'm going to do is on this particular button, if you select, you get this menu over here under visualization. And over here you have action. Enable this. And then under that, you will see what type of action you want. I want a bookmark action. And then you can select your bookmark. So if I click on that, I want slicer. So I will say with slicers. Fair enough. Go ahead and click it. Okay. For a minute, I'll just uncheck this. Right. So what will happen without slicers? If you click, okay. So action. Okay. See, while doing it, there was a. I mean, you need to be careful. What I did when I took took the bookmark without slicer, I have kind of unchecked it.
Yes.
So if you go here and uncheck it, and see this is not coming right now, so I need to delete it and need to create it once again. For this, it will be disabled. I will uncheck this and take another one, bookmark 2. We'll name it uncheck data and we'll name it as rename. We need to be very careful with this while saving the bookmark, what we are doing. Without slicer doesn't have that slices. With slices, it has a slicer. Okay. Under the action of this button, we have, see, without slicer, I'll uncheck and check it again. So it is slicers. Okay, fine. Now what I'm going to do is, when it is slicer, I'll select this button, and under this button I'll put another action, and over here I will do
Slicer with.
bookmark and without slicers. Fine. So if you see, two bookmarks are there and visibility of this is kind of set. So what I will do now, I'll just close this tab also, minimize this, and selection is also kind of not required. So on dashboard, you will get this page. If you click over here, sorry, in Power BI desktop, you need to click on with control button. Right, that slicer is gone. If with control you are clicking over here, you will see the slicers. And then you can filter out your data and hide that slicer once again.
So we have created a slicer and we have hide that slicer.
Yes.
This is
I'll
the
just
point of
publish.
hiding of slicer.
Okay, I'll tell you. See, when you work with many objects in the any dashboard, right? Right now we have only 4 charts.
Yes.
Let's say you have number of charts. In that case, you will face a problem of space,
Yes.
right? So this arrangement will be helpful in those scenarios. Like you don't want to show the slicer always. Whenever it is required, just click on it. Slicer will appear. Select your data, and then hide it again. Getting?
Yeah.
See, UI can be created far more better what I have created here. It is just we have just randomly created something. But if you know proper UI or user interface, you can create a better by using external images and show a good visualization. So what we covered? We covered one thing related to forecast. That was the basic thing. Some trend lines we covered. Then we saw the difference between your slicer, filter, and parameters.
Parameters.
Right?
Yes.
What are their limitations? That is also what we saw. So out of this, it seems like slicer is the best one which we can customize, which we can use on a particular object, not object, basically on different pages wherever we want,
Yeah.
right? So that flexibility is there with the slicers. The benefit with filter is that you can apply filter on an individual visualization also, that you don't have with slicers, right? Slicer helps in case of multiple pages. Filter helps in case of all the pages or single page or on different visualization in a page.
Yes.
So some pros and some cons. But parameter is very limited. That is only on the data side, and it is limited to Power BI desktop, not for the Power BI web service.
Web services.